Hey guys, it's me, the Omega Cut, and today I'm going to be telling a story called My Neighbors Are Disappearing. It's unlike my past other stories. This one's not from the No Sleep subreddit. This is actually from the Creepypasta website. I will link the story in the description, and yeah, okay, let's get into it. My neighbors are disappearing. I'm not sure when this all started, but it seems that everyone in this town already knows. I moved here just over a year ago. It's lush with green in every direction, townsfolk greet each other on the streets, and children play on every block and street corner. It's, it's a perfectly stereotypical little town. I live here with my two little girls, Violet, who is 12, and Gracie, who just celebrated her 7th birthday last week. And of course, our loyal watchdog, Pumpkin. He's past his prime, pushing 11 years of age now, sporting the under eye gray hairs and lazy but affectionate attitude that never seems to let up. My wife and I got divorced about 2 years ago on accounts of her selling meth outside of the house for almost a year. What kind of mother could put her children in such a terrible situation like that? So we ended up divorcing. Of course, I got the kids, the dog, and the house, but now we couldn't stand to live there. So we packed up our things, loaded up the car, and drove out of that miserable town in hopes of finding a new home where my girls could grow up surrounded by friendly faces and beautiful views. They deserved it, after all the court dates and police interviews. We arrived there. It was home at first sight. The girls quickly grew fond of the street corners, sweet shop, and the small plaza with a splash pad in the front. What the heck? Let's give it a shot. Our first neighbors were Samantha Brings and her 13-year-old son, Malcolm Brings. She was divorced like I was, and we got along very well. She was middle aged and had a very attractive but motherly face with a few incoming wrinkles, but barely visible. She was quick to make a joke and always insisted we call her Sammy. Only the best get to call me that, so please, wear it out, say to us with a chuckle in her voice. Her son Malcolm was not as outgoing and upfront cheery as she was. He was timid and shy, but almost only with me. He got along with my girls very well. They'd often walk to school together and back, laughing all the way. They lived there for about 5 years before we moved in, and we only knew them for about 3 months. I woke up to the sound of 3 dozen feet or so walking in and out of her house, not trying very hard to be quiet, even though it was 2:40 in the morning. Vanished. They told me and not a word more. They gutted that house of any furniture, clothing, or vehicle in under an hour. I tried to get someone to explain to me what happened, but it was fruitless. I stood outside her house for a good 20 minutes after everyone had vacated the property, just thinking. The thinking eventually gave me a headache, so I gave up for the night and trudged my way back home into my bed. And after that night, no one spoke a word or even a whisper of Sammy and Malcolm. Our next pair of neighbors moved in about a month and a half after Sammy disappeared. They were a darling old couple, Gideon and Alvin. They've been together for over 60 years and still going strong. They moved in here from Denmark. Gideon said they'd lived there since birth, and Alvin was, as he called it, the luckiest tourist. I looked at them as my long lost grandparents. They were kind, giving, and great listeners. However, they were quite opinionated and they had something to say about most controversial topics. They were the type of old folk to give you a call whenever they'd hear a noise that was suspiciously too loud. but I never really minded. In my eyes, they were perfect, and only looking out for my family's well being. I woke up to the sound of blaring ambulance sirens spreading down our quiet, cozy street. Past in their sleep, a man among the 3 dozen told me. They were here again, almost as if they'd forgotten here right as it happened. How can that many gather at a single location so fast? It was beyond unnerving. It was downright unsettling. I knew that perfect elderly couple for 7 months, by far the hardest to cope with. Now we come to my most recent set of neighbors, Casey and Donna. They were proud parents of 5 children, and when I say proud, I mean proud. They would go on and on at dinner parties about how proud they are of their kids and what amazing accomplishments their kids have done. We didn't get along too much. It's too show offy for me. Not to mention very competitive people, not just about their kids either. They had to outdo everyone and be at the top. Their kids were even worse. You wouldn't catch me dead talking bad of children, but these children, they're an exception. Their youngest girl, Audrey, has been caught talking sour of my oldest, Violet, at school. That was the last straw for me, the straw that broke the camel's back. I marched my way down our porch steps, past the fence separating us, right to their lawn, and bashed on the door. They weren't too happy about that and yelled at me for almost 5 minutes before I had a chance to utter a word. When they paused, I told them fast and sternly about their child's behavior and what she'd been up to at school. They weren't taking any of it. They flipped the script and made me look like the bad guy. I had had enough. I closed their own door in their stuck up faces and marched my way home. From absolute anger I felt that day, I fell asleep surprisingly quickly. I woke up peacefully. The glimmering rays of sun were beginning to make their journey across the cliffs through my window. The house was quiet as it was the first night we were here. Everything was still and peaceful. I stood out of bed, stretched my toes, and lazily stumbled my way over to the window to gaze at the bright morning. Nothing, not a thing. They were gone. After one long month, they disappeared. I wasn't surprised, nor confused, or fearful. I was scarily calm, and continued about my day as normal. I already knew what had happened. I've seen it before. Something befell the family. The on cue 3 dozen townsfolk arrived and gutted the house, leaving nothing behind, not even a crumb. Not even a crumb. I sat at my breakfast table and thought. I thought of the neighbors, their kids, their pets. What was really going on? This isn't just happening to us, it's every house around us. All is gone, except us. I am fearful. I, I speak not to the kids of my fears, of the noise I've been hearing creeping through every wall, of my ungodly nightmares that have awoken me only to view another missing family. The only reason I dare to write any of this down is because I want this to be known. I want us to be known. It's 8 p.m. and my daughters haven't come home from school. I fear the worst. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this story. I will link this story in the description so the author gets proper credit. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. And by the way, I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, hit that notification so you never miss a video. I will also link this podcast in the description below. And yeah, bye bye.